What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fanatic Islanders, your home for sports and sports entertainment. You know what it is? It's time for another Sandbar Sitdown. So, we got the usual two, as we are a two-person podcast now. Kadeem is never here.
Wow, real
And
life.
we have the lovely Apryl Pinder.
Hi.
We are going to talk to her for a bit. We'll get her insight on stuff. I don't want to give y'all too much. And she's a bit shy, but, welcome her.
She could be
Welcome
all
her
right.
to the show.
She could be all right.
Wow, I was thrown under the bus.
Get
She
her.
could be all right.
Get her. She'll be good. She'll be good. She'll be good. But first things first. Like we felt like we've known you pretty much all our lives. Like
Pretty
from
much.
we were 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
So for
Wow.
those out there who don't know you as well, and we've missed a few years.
Okay.
Catch us up.
Yeah, we
on
catching
that.
up.
Tell the people who you are, what you study,
Okay.
and just anything you feel like they should know. Remember, this episode is all about you. Anything you
No.
feel like they should
Yeah, it
know.
is. It is. Embrace it. Embrace it.
It's all about you, baby. Yeah.
Okay, so my name's Apryl, like you said. So I guess officially we met at QC, right?
Yeah.
Are we taking it all the way that far back?
Might as well. Might as well.
Might have passed in the hospital. never know.
Maybe. So yeah, my name's Apryl. We met at QC. I studied nutrition, so right now I am a nutritionist. I am in the process of getting certified to be a dietitian. That's the end goal. So
Nice.
I'm going through the process of applying for my master's to go to my internship.
Okay.
Graduated from the University of Arkansas.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's me in a nutshell.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
This is, like I said, it's not gonna be hard.
Okay.
It's not gonna be hard.
Okay.
Girl, don't be nervous.
Yeah. So I mean, what made you want to study nutrition? What is your why?
I feel like it was sort of, I don't know, like I don't have like a why. Like, you know how people like grow up and they're like, oh my gosh, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that inclination with nutrition. It sort of kind of was like I was confused, I would say. Pretty much didn't really know what I want to do after graduation. And then we went to COB, living our best lives. Then I took a nutrition elective.
Okay.
And I really liked the class. At that point, I didn't really know that it could be like a career. I didn't really think much into it. But when I just made the decision to go abroad and I had to figure out like what I'd major in, I saw that the University of Arkansas had nutrition as one of the programs. And out of everything that I had studied, including in like high school, like home economics, family consumer sciences, like those are the things that really like stirred up anything in me. So that's pretty much how it started. Like I don't really have like an amazing story. It just haphazardly happened from that one elective at COB.
Okay, so I'm not gonna claim I know what it is.
Okay.
So my question is more like gonna be, what exactly is a nutritionist?
Okay, so a nutritionist is pretty much somebody in the realm that would talk you through what you eat, like talk you through your diet. So I feel like the first question I always get asked when somebody like hears me say that is like, oh, can you help me lose weight? So it's important.
Are you reading my mind?
There we go.
It's important, but for sure it takes it more into a preventative standpoint. So learning what it is that your body needs based on the activities that you do, maybe any ailments that you would have. So a nutritionist is somebody that would be able to like talk you through what would be best for you to eat.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you said you're studying. You're in the process of getting your master's and trying to be a dietitian. What's the difference between the two, and what exactly is a dietitian if it's not the same thing?
So a dietitian pretty much is like the next level up. So
Okay.
I'd be able to work into like a clinical standpoint. So nutritionists are pretty much people that would be maybe somebody like working in a gym and they make like a meal plan for you. A dietitian would take it a bit further and talk about how it is that your food's affecting maybe like medicine that you're taking in your body.
Okay.
Or if you have an ailment, like I said. So we'd be able to speak more on an atomic level, anatomy. I don't know if atomic is the right word.
It could be.
But that word, you gotta have to cut that one out. But we speak more, a dietitian would speak more of how your body is being affected by the food that you eat versus like a nutritionist would just be telling you like, okay, like for you to be healthy, these are the steps that you need to take.
Okay.
So a dietitian would be working in a clinical setting, working with doctors and all of the other medical professionals that you need for your team to make sure that you're okay. Nutritionist, you just pretty much are there to say, all right, these are the amount of calories that you have to eat in a day.
Okay. So it's more specific when it comes to being a dietitian.
Yeah.
So going back to the question you said about, going back to the response you gave about people coming to you and saying, okay, you're a nutritionist, I need to lose weight. I've heard like in reports recently that there are some people, or at least in the studies, that people are dying more from obesity than malnutrition these days, like in the world.
Yeah.
So how do we find a way to combat that? I know that's almost like the same question people are asking you, but like, how do you stop that from happening?
I think that, so we have to really like take in consideration what it is that we eat and how much of it is that we eat. So I think a lot of people always think when it comes to like a weight problem, it goes into like the countries where there's like a rationing of food or something like that. But like you said, obesity is just as prevalent because especially if you look around here, like the Bahamas, like that's one of our top 3 diseases. And we don't really look at it as a disease, like as an ailment.
Yeah.
But so to combat that, we just sort of kind of have to look into how much we're eating. So even though people, I think, we've all been taught, like you eat everything on your plate. So it starts with like what you take up on your plate and just understanding the correct portion sizes, what it is and how it is that you're eating, like how the food has been prepared.
Yeah.
So starting in those small steps, just how much you're eating and watching what you're eating.
Okay. Fair. I guess, because I guess we eat all that's on our plate because, back in the day, our parents were like, oh.
Yeah, because then they like threaten us and be like, there are people dying. Like, you have to eat your food. You can't waste it.
Y'all just bought the entire food store. What you want me to do right now?
all the pressure.
Yeah.
The McDonald's at home.
Yeah.
It's never tastes the same. Going a bit into, I guess, diving into your courses, right? What are those courses consist of? Like, what are you? I guess it's mainly more sciences, but.
So it went through a plethora. So I had to do chemistry. We had to do science. We did biology. And so it sort of kind of, like I said, it incorporated like the nutrients, the vitamins, all of our minerals, and how those are affected by like what goes on in our bodies, how much of what we need. So I had to dive into understanding all of the icky chemistry stuff that I hated.
Chemistry is rough. I ain't gonna lie.
Chemistry was rough.
Yeah.
That beat my behind.
Yeah.
But going on to like my senior classes, then it broke down food, just like at the cellular level, like what it is that we need, how much of it we need. But so yeah, it was a lot of science based, and I didn't expect that. I thought it would be more fun classes. I really did.
You got through it though. So
barely.
That's everything. But if you enjoy it, you could get through it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was worth it. I feel like even going into it, I didn't understand how much, like how rigorous it would be. Because thinking about it, like I feel like my first feeling of like nutrition was in high school with like home economics, and it was more like cooking. So I was like, okay, I can understand that. I was thinking it would be more hands-on-ish, but it was really in depth. It was not what I expected, but I am still happy I chose it.
Do you feel like it needs to be more rigorous? Because there's a lot of people, especially on the internet, who feel like they could be a nutritionist just by watching a couple of videos
on YouTube.
Yeah, they feel like, oh yeah, here's the meal plan that you need perfectly. Here it is. This is for the masses. I just want to get rich low key, but this is for everyone right now.
I don't know if I would say it needs to be more rigorous, because like again, that sort of kind of goes into the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. So a nutritionist, you could definitely go online and get a course, because it's just you understanding like the calorie deficit versus calorie surplus, because a lot of people that are nutritionists, they're just trying to help people either lose or gain weight. So it comes at a pretty standard level, and that's fine. When you go into the realm of like dietitians, that's when you get more into the science background, because you're understanding the complexity of what it is that we're putting in our body and how it affects us. So I feel like that course in itself is rigorous enough, but it just depends on like where it is that you want to like go into it. So I feel like for me, I want to be more on a preventative level, because I think like food at its core is like it can be our health. Like we are what we eat. And so I feel like me understanding all of the complexities of it and helping people to like learn that before I get to the point of having to take a bunch of medicines or having to do like really out there remedies. So just understanding that and being able to educate people on that, I think is what my goal is, versus just saying, okay, like eat less and you lose weight.
Fair. So how do you feel about, I guess there's some people on the internet as well. I just want to go back there because I know you said that it is fair that you can do that course and do it for whatever you want to do it for. But feel like there's also some people who want to kind of rearrange the science of nutrition. Like they'd be like, okay, this food pyramid you've learned your entire life is wrong. So
It's actually upside down.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Like, they're like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to eat these grains. You're not supposed to eat this. Eat some more dairy. Eat some more meat. You could be straight.
Okay. Okay. In their defense.
Okay.
We learn new things every day. So like there's something, like one thing that was emphasized for us, like, you know, growing up, like our parents always gave us milk, healthy bones, strong teeth. We need calcium. But through my courses, they actually were saying that milk in its natural state isn't the best for humans.
I could agree with that.
So that's something that we've all like gone to the fact now where we're drinking like almond milk, oat milk. Like we didn't grow up on that. Like we literally were, I was a chocolate milk fanatic.
Me too. I ain't gonna lie.
Now it's like going into the milk aisle and sort of like, oh, why y'all drinking like real milk?
Exactly. I don't know.
But so I can understand to some extent that there are some things that need to be revised. But for people that just take it upon themselves to change things so it fits their like outline, that's not okay, because it still comes down to a point where we still need our macronutrients. We still need to have our food groups in a certain amount. So for them to just say flip the pyramid, that's not wise.
Yeah.
But again, the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. A nutritionist is going to say what's best for what they're promoting.
Fair.
So I guess that would be that. You just have to be cautious about who you listen to and make sure that you're doing your research as well, because not all advice is good advice.
Fair enough. I hope everybody heard that.
You used a word, right? Like a few minutes back. I want to touch on that. You said...
Boy. What did I say?
No, you said you thought the course would be more fun.
Oh, okay.
Easy question. What do you do in your spare time? What do you do in your off time? No, we want to know more about what you...
You're supposed to talk about me.
It is about you.
It is about you.
What do you want? What do you want?
Oh boy. Okay. Spare time. I'm not the most fun person. No, for real. So I feel like my spare time is spent more. I feel like I'm family oriented.
Okay.
So if I could like spend time with my family, I feel like that would be me. So one thing that I've been trying to get into since I've been back home is trying as many restaurants as I can to see like where it is that.
Oh, foodie.
Yeah. Oh boy. Is that not
You don't like
the answer?
foodies, bro?
Am I supposed to say I party every Thursday?
No, to me, being a foodie is the most disgusting thing.
Why?
What? Oh, here we
Why?
go. We starting the war.
It's just that the over obsession with food just turns my stomach.
Why though?
She's finding the best foods.
She's
Though.
just tasting different
No, but
foods.
I mean, no, but not what you doing per se, but it's like
Same person.
no, but it's like, wait, like how people is obsessed over food. I'm like, I could never. But
What
then
do you
that's
mean
me,
like obsessed?
like overly, like I just want to eat, and then when they show, see, I eat intermittent fast almost every day, and I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So what most people show is like you just
Nine for you.
Okay, but see, like that's what I'm trying to say. So I feel like for people that have like specific dietary restrictions, like what I'm trying to do is like make my way through restaurants in the Bahamas, so I'll be able to make advice, like suggestions on which restaurants would be best for people that are doing like vegetarianism, or maybe if somebody has like a gluten intolerance, because this is something that's being quite prevalent now. But just to experience the different restaurants that we have.
I just want to say, it is not meant for the melanated people to consume some of these products.
Especially not the lactose.
That's why a lot of us are lactose. We're not supposed to consume the flesh or any of its products except for honey. That's just
Except
my fine
honey.
sense.
But the thing is, a lot of people don't even know they lactose intolerant.
That's another thing.
That's correct. I don't
That's
think
why,
I would-
like when I was in high school, when we used to have games, our coach would always say, you don't no dairy before the game because you can always go to the bathroom.
Yeah. But yeah, I think some people don't even understand the stretch of it, because they'll be like, I'm lactose intolerant, but then just be like, oh, I don't drink milk, but still eat ice cream, still eat cheese.
Exactly. Like, oh, my
So,
chest burning. I don't know
yeah,
what's
it's
going
like,
on.
Okay, eat some yogurt and be like, no, like I just don't drink milk though. So just like being able, like I think that's like my ultimate goal, just to be able to educate people on things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that comes with awareness as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people just, they're like, man, I've been doing this my whole life. I don't really care.
Sound like me.
Yeah, I still struggle with ice cream. Like, I don't know. I don't
Ice
think I
cream
can
is
put it
good.
down.
Ice cream is good for me.
It's not
You want some
different,
ice cream?
Huh?
though. It's not different though.
No, I said ice cream is good with me.
Oh, okay.
So
But you don't drink milk.
I do not drink. I drink chocolate milk, but it's like, I don't know. My stomach's weird.
You just can't drink like.
The white milk, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
2%.
think I ever, my entire life just say, yeah, I just want a glass of milk.
I
Not
used
chocolate
to.
milk.
I
And
used
not
to,
cereal.
Like, literally, I used to like.
Just regular milk?
Yeah.
Like back in
Wow,
the day.
that's
back in the day,
powerful.
back in the day.
Yeah. Like
That's powerful.
You don't want water, so you're drinking milk.
exactly.
I'll take juice
And,
over
you
milk.
can't drink juice like that. Like it was like the options were like water and milk in the house, because juice was
Fair.
special.
Juice was a commodity.
I was drinking
Exactly.
that
rare
juice.
commodity.
I just have to get riled, but that's all.
You need some milk.
But I guess going off of that, just, all the research that you've done, do you feel like it's easier for you to stick to eating the right foods, or is it like, I know more, so that kind of makes it in a weird way more tempting to eat the wrong foods? Like, how do you handle that?
I don't think it makes it easier. I don't think like my diet is that restricted. If there's something I want to indulge in, I would, but it makes me more aware of what it is that I'm putting in my body. I guess to an extent it would be easier, but I don't know. I try not to judge on what other people are eating, and I try not to like make it so uncomfortable for myself where I'm like, oh, I've read this, I can't have that.
Yeah.
Like I still want to enjoy myself when I'm eating. Like I said, like a pastime of mine is like literally eating. So I
Fair.
don't want to just like stick to like 3 things because I feel like these are the only things that will like make me healthy.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Let me see. So, how do you feel about... You talked about restrictive diets that, some people might be on. How do you feel about when you go to the food store, you want to stay on the restrictive diet, but you look at the prices? The organic meats cost way more than the regular meat. Let's be real here. The eggs out the
Those foods
wazoo.
you eat is fake, bro.
I know, but let's stick
Is
to
it
it.
is it coming from a place where you just don't want people to eat meat though?
No, let me tell you something. I'm almost a super health nut, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I started during the pandemic, like backyard farming, and I grew like my banana trees. I just had its first harvest this past winter, and eating that and comparing it to what I taste in the food store.
No, it's different. It's different.
It is different.
things.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, bro, I going through the process of trying to farm different crops and failing.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, wait. To be honest, we can't feed ourselves in these islands because we don't have enough topsoil to grow enough crop.
Exactly.
And then we eat a lot of stuff and a lot of variety of stuff. So a lot of stuff is imported. So then when you think for the average person, the average human being, how much they consume and how much the ground can actually cultivate, they gotta be making this food in the lab.
Yeah.
I mean, it's export only, but going back to what I was asking, I was like, what exactly does a person do who wants to be gluten free, who wants to get off lactose and all that? Do they just
They gotta break the bank.
breaking the bank too? But like, if you get like the regular meat instead of organic, does preparation almost equal out not buying organic?
Yes. So
Okay.
it goes back, like I said, to just like education, like really understanding. Because I think a lot of people, like when people take that route and they're like, okay, like I want to change my habits, I want to be healthy, they automatically think I have to buy organic everything. Like I can't do anything that I was doing before. But I feel like the first thing that you really have to understand is just understanding that living a healthy lifestyle.
No, that's just a message.
Oh.
Oh,
I was
what up?
like, I don't know if you wanted to say something.
I was looking at that. Sorry.
It's a lifestyle. So being healthy is actually a lifestyle. It's not just you changing what it is that you're eating, but really going to the effect of understanding that this isn't going to be something you do for like 2 weeks. It needs to be something that you do for a longer period of time. And so making smaller changes periodically is going to last longer than you just saying, okay, I can only buy organic meats.
Yeah.
And so maybe understanding that if you do buy the meat in the food store, it doesn't necessarily have to be organic, but try baking it instead of frying it. Or maybe the ingredients that you put on top of it. You don't necessarily have to smother it in a sauce. Maybe you can make like your own sauce so you don't have something off of the shelf that's like filled with preservatives and sugars. And then I'm always an advocate for buying local. So like go to the farmers markets. Like there are a lot of people that do a lot of farming around the island. Maybe you have family members on other islands. Like utilize the things that we have now. Like he said, it's harder and we don't necessarily mass produce the fruits and vegetables or meat that we have on island, but it's still an option to buy from there. And so it'll be easier to do it that way because at least you know that it doesn't have a bunch of what are they called?
Chemicals, GMOs, yeah.
Those. They don't have a bunch of those. So
Okay.
I think that would be my best suggestion. Start buying local, start small. Think of one thing that you'd like to change. So maybe if you want to add more vegetables into your meals, like go and get your veggies and then put it as a side. You don't necessarily have to say, okay, I'm never going to eat chicken again. Start small.
Okay.
That makes sense.
How you feel about that, Justin?
I mean, I ain't against people eating meat. It's just that we consume too much.
Yeah,
of a lot of this stuff, bro.
like I say, obesity, bro. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, if you really think about it, right? And I had to sit down and think. Because I was someone who, every day, like let's say I go to Dunkin' Donuts and I get a medium coffee and 2 donuts. Bro, that's 750 calories right there. Bro.
No, it really
That don't even fill you.
It really is. And it's empty calories. Like he's
Yeah,
saying.
I ain't doing
Like,
that
the
for
problem
you.
is it's empty calories. 'Cause, like, I think the biggest thing that, like, one of the biggest shocks I had was when I went to school. We had like this class, and it was like a cultural diversity class, and somebody was from France. And so they were like, what was the biggest thing that you had to adjust to moving to America? And so she was like, the portion sizes. And I was like, girl, what are you
Yes.
talking about? And so she said like her and her friends went to a restaurant and they all were able to eat off of one order. Like 4 people could eat off of one plate.
In America.
In
that's
America.
also fine.
That's why they don't have a trouble with obesity. 'cause,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And so I never really thought about it, but I was like, okay, cool. And then when I came home, I remember I was at KFC, and like there's this lady in front of me, and she ordered like a 2-piece meal for her 3-year-old. I'm assuming the person was 3.
Oh,
The
yeah.
little kid was like 3. It was a little kid.
Wow.
And I'm just like, not even a kid's meal.
Yeah,
though?
that's what I was thinking.
A 3-piece meal or 2-piece. Anyway, it was like it was like not a kid's meal.
That's
and I'm
excessive.
just like, bruh. And so it's those things. It's like portion sizes is really, really like it's important because we'll sit and we'll eat until we're full, and that's not necessarily the case because we're training our body to like be stuffed. And you're not supposed to eat to the point where you feel like you need to like throw up or lay down because you're so full. Like you just need to make sure that your body is like nourished.
So how do we get our bodies at that point? So you said we have a tendency to eat until we feel full, eat till we like, say, okay, I had enough, let me go lay down. How do we get our body to be like, okay, I've eaten this portion of food, I'm going to put the rest aside, but I've had enough nutrients, or I've done enough that I don't need this anymore, like making your stomach, for lack of better word and for lack of being dumb, for making their stomach smaller?
Okay, so it's not about making your stomach smaller. Our stomach is the size that it is. But it's a mindset thing, because it goes back to us thinking that we have to eat everything in front of us. So it's modification, substitution, and just knowing that I've had enough. So I think a good thing too is eating on time, because as ironic as it may sound, if you eat more frequently throughout the day, you'll eat less in your meals. Because so a lot of us would be so busy in our day, we'll skip breakfast. Sometimes we may work through lunch, and then we'd be like, dang, okay, I'm hungry, but I can't wait until dinner. So then we go get the first and the fastest thing that we can find. And because we're so hungry, we want to eat a bunch of food in that one moment. And so it's like we get probably fast food, the biggest meal that we could get, eat all of it, and then we still go home because that's just a pre-snack for dinner. But we still have to eat dinner.
Again.
Exactly. Then you go home, you be like, oh, I didn't eat all day, so I have to eat something. And so when we have that feeling and we just want to be satisfied so quickly, we want something that's like carb dense, like it's heavy. We're not thinking about like a balanced meal. So go into your question, eating frequently or eating on time.
Okay.
So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe inclusive of snacks in there. And then just making sure that your meal is balanced. So you do have all of the main food groups. You have your carbs, you have a vegetable, you have a protein. And so that way you know that your body's getting nutrients from what you're eating and the fact that you are eating. What's your question?
My question is, I don't think this is another thing, and this is taught in many different belief systems and things like that, right? Where, we don't encourage fasting enough, as well as they say it's healthy to have 3 meals a day. My opinion is we don't need to eat that frequently. And it depends on what we're partaking in these meals, as well as time of day and when are we eating these meals. What's your thought process there? Because for instance, like the 5% of belief, and many beliefs feel like you only need to eat once a day. Some people might be like, oh no, you need to eat 3, or when breakfast means to break fast, but then it's like all this processed food don't just obliterate in 8 hours. It takes almost days. You eat something today, that ain't out your system until Wednesday. What's your thoughts on that?
It depends on your lifestyle, I think. Because, so somebody that's sedentary, they don't necessarily need to eat as much as somebody that may be like a construction worker. The construction worker would burn so many more calories than somebody that's just like pushing paper behind a desk. No offense to anybody pushing paper behind a desk. Do a great job at your job. But so I agree, and then it continues to boil down to what it is that you're putting in your body. Because if you have things that are like more pure, let's say, so vegetables, fruits, things that your body can digest and the metabolic system will be able to use and really energize your body with, it won't take as long to process as some of the things that are on the shelf. Because really and truly, if you think about it, if you're buying something on the shelf that's been there for months, it's meant to last long. It has a shelf life for a reason. And so it doesn't just disintegrate because it's in your body, the same way that it takes time to process. It would take longer to process in our body versus something that we just literally go from like farm to table. So I agree to the extent that depending on what you do in a day, you don't necessarily need to eat as much as somebody else would, but you still need to make sure that you have enough calories for what it is that your body requires. So I think that shameless plug would be where a dietitian comes in, because it works with you individually to figure out like how many calories you need in your day and what nutrients or what foods would be best to provide those calories, because maybe you need more of like a complex carb versus just like a simple carb. So also like age is important too. Like growing kids need way more food than an older adult would.
Okay,
I feel seeing.
Another question, and as this can be a little dicey.
Come on, say it.
No, you're not answering the question.
So I have another. Is this another theory of mine?
Okay, go ahead.
Specifically for in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Do you feel that? Because I've seen research where they say, okay, men need a certain amount of calories, and women need a particular amount of calories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that in a lot of cases where you see women eat as much as men, and they don't eat their caloric amount, and because
Wait, say the question again.
okay, do you think Bahamian women don't eat more than what their caloric count requires, per se? Because you have seen over the past years, like Dr. Sands come up and say, "You're not sexy, you big and fat," and obviously we'll always say, obviously we have big and fat men, but we have a lot of big bone women as well. And I always think that attributes is because a lot of Bahamian women eat as much as the men and may not do as much as physical labor or even the recreational stuff as the men do. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I truly do agree. I think that we have a lot of people that eat too much. Like, it's just like flat line, like you eat too much. I'm not trying to I'm not coming for nobody's throats.
It is what it is.
Let's put it out there.
It is what it is.
I'm not coming for anybody's throat. But I think that, again, a lot of people eat until they feel as though their bodies are full. And at the point where you can feel your body being full, you've overeaten. Like, you shouldn't feel like full. Like, you should not feel stuffed because your body it's not supposed to be expanded to that point where it's sending you signals like, hey, we've had enough, let's stop. Like, you should be able to just say, like, okay, like, these are my portions that I need, and after that, I'm good. Like, you should be able to, like, get up, move around, and feel comfortable. And so there are a lot of people, especially women, that will eat too much, but I think it's also, like, what we are going for in the country because, like you said, even though Dr. Sand said it's not sexy, in some people's mind, yeah.
Okay. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, I think people, like, embrace it a lot, like you say, like, Dr. Science might say one thing, but everybody else like, that's fine with me. Like, so why would I stop eating? Like, what is the incentive here?
Yeah. And then it's just, I guess it's kind of hard too, because I think that we need to really build our lifestyles around eating healthy. Because I think a lot of us want to go out, not want to, but because we don't have enough time, like, we eat out of the house. A lot of us are out of the house for the majority of our day, from like breakfast to about right before dinner time. And so then when you come home sometimes for dinner, you're tired, so you still bringing food home. And like, when you look at what options we have as far as like food available to us, they don't serve us the right portion sizes.
Yeah.
So like, I did a study, and literally the smallest, so a KFC meal, the 2-piece is like, that's a 2-piece meal. Like, but we're getting that for ourselves, and like, that's about 800 calories in just that meal. And quite frankly, it's empty calories. It's not serving us any purpose other than just allowing us to feel full. But if you really think about it, it doesn't give us like a long-term satisfaction. You eat it, you feel good, and then your body just feels like it just feels icky afterwards. But stop laughing at my icky word.
I know it. I gotta just embrace it. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, when you go out and you buy food, so even if you want to do like a real meal, like do Checkers, again, I'm not coming for anybody's throats, but
it's Checkers as bad as the other ones, though. People will defend Checkers right now. I know me personally. I'll eat at home most of the time.
Because I'm sure after this episode, I gotta find something to eat, so I gotta make sure.
People going to defend Checkers, Apryl. I'm sorry. They really will.
I know, I'm not saying that Checkers is bad, like the food that they serve. What I'm saying, though, is the plate that they serve you, that's a personal plate, so you expect to eat all of the food.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's like,
that's not a meal you should be eating.
Exactly. So it's like,
Chinese.
again, so I feel like that's you literally, the amount of food you get from the Chinese, technically that could be like 3 servings.
It really can, but I'll eat all in one.
That's the problem. We don't do proper serving sizes, and that creates the obesity problem, because if I'm buying 1 plate of food, I'm gonna eat my 1 plate of food.
You feel?
So it's, even if it takes like 2 or 3 turns, but like, even like when you go out to a restaurant, a cool thing to do would be, if you're not sharing your meal, to just like split your food up from the jump. So or just anywhere, just you say, okay, like, I'm going to eat this for lunch, and then I'm going to eat this for dinner or whatever. Like, so it's not all in front of you, making it like a challenge. So
See,
you'd eat all of the food at one time.
As a man in a restaurant, though, they could bully you. They say, "But you want to take over plate, bro? That's what you want."
I mean, yeah, but if you healthy, who cares?
I agree.
Okay, another question.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they might say, "Oh, mysterious voice, you're fat phobic. You only talk about the fat people."
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
So,
boy.
now, I have some bodybuilding friends, and I always say, eating all that protein and all that chicken, that's why a lot of bodybuilders tend to have a lot of heart, liver, and kidney issues later on because you overload your organs. And often the average person tends to overload their organs and not realize it. You know, not understand how the body works, how plaque gets stores up, how important detoxing is. Speak to that for me, as well as the importance of detoxing.
Okay. Yeah. So again, shameless plug. This is where a dietitian, even a nutritionist, will come in to play, because I think a lot of people, when they have a specific goal, they'll just do whatever it is necessary to get to that goal. So especially, so like you're saying with like bodybuildings, of course they want to do protein, so they'll do even like protein powders, all of the supplements, and that can be detrimental to an extent, like anything if done in excess. And so the thing with doing a heavy protein meal is carbohydrates are important because that's what our body runs on. That's like our fuel for our body. And so when you go into the protein aspect and making that like your number one source of energy, your body kicks into ketosis. And it's not horrible, but it's just, it gets a little bit tricky because like our bodies are just in perfect balance. And what's the question again?
What exactly is ketosis?
So it's a metabolic pathway of how our body digests things.
Okay.
So we use gluconeogenesis with carbohydrates. And then protein is digested into ketones.
Okay.
And so once our body has more ketones than it does sucrose, it uses ketogenesis.
Oh.
I think your question was like the importance of like detoxing.
Yes. I mean, because ketosis, because the keto diet trend has been raving for the last couple of years, but
Yeah.
where they again eat numerous amounts of meat and you cut out starch, which turns into sugar. But then I'm like, you eating all this protein. But
Hold on, you got bodybuilders who got no starch?
No. I'm talking about people who
Okay.
That was me wild for like two
Yeah,
weeks.
you were wildin'.
I used to go to Wendy's.
No
ask
bun.
them- Ask them for a burger with no bun.
But did it work? Was it worth it?
I mean, it was there, but it's like
Oh.
it was the
And then
same price.
putting butter in your coffee.
Yeah.
'Cause
No, I wasn't
you
gonna
know,
go
Huh?
I had keto
Because
coffee before.
you do
Butter in your coffee?
you
Yeah.
basically want fat. Like you want
Your body to burn the fat.
Yeah, so because like he said, with when you break down carbs, it turns into sugar in our body, and we use what we need, and then the excess is stored as fat, but it's as a reserve. So the thing is, it goes back to us eating too much, because it isn't supposed to be a bad thing that our body stores the extra carbs as fat, because in the case of us going into like fasting, or maybe it's a situation where we fall ill and we don't necessarily have the appetite, our body has that reserve of our extra stored fat. But for ketosis, they don't want the body to store fat, and so they're eating the fat and the protein that we need so that the body automatically burns it without storing it. And so you'll see results, but long term, if you don't continue going with it, you're gonna gain your fat back.
Yeah.
So it's not like a one-time wonder type thing.
So essentially, it's a waste of time. If you don't make that your whole life, basically,
Again,
your entire life.
your diet is your lifestyle. So if I've seen studies where people have sincerely lost a lot of weight doing the keto diet. I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna suggest it, but carbs are necessary. But to go with detoxing, I think it is important. Yes, because well, it depends. Because if with your lifestyle, do you feel like you eat so many bad things that you have to detox your body? Like, do you feel a difference if you were to like go maybe like a month without detoxing?
Justin.
I don't know what you said.
So, okay, do you detox regularly?
Yeah, because, so what I'll do, what I started doing since the new year, I shout out to Essential Alkaline.
Oh, okay.
Their sea moss and their blood circulating detox. I'll take 2 tablespoons of each every morning. Then I'll fast with an eating period between 12 to 8. And then I'll try to, when I drink water, have lime, lemon, cucumbers, apple inside of it. So I can have proper bowel movements, coupled with charcoal pills every other day. And then, like, let's say, for instance, I'm about to do a photo shoot or something. I won't eat sugar or any processed sugar.
Okay.
And stay away from starch as much
Okay.
as possible. So everything is, like, clean, grain, vegetables, all that good stuff.
Okay.
That's intense.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
why
like,
I always just tell people I live like a monk.
but going, like, listening to what you're saying, it sounds more of just like healthful choices versus like a detox. It's like when you
Yeah.
said detox, I was thinking like a detox tea, like doing something to like
Flushing.
flush your system out
Yeah.
immediately. But you're just making good choices to help your body's system do what it needs to do, because at the end of the day, our body takes what it needs and it excretes the what we
Yeah, of
don't.
course. But I'm saying, what my initial question was, it was like, no, people don't ordinarily do it, so that's why they would have to do a hard detox to where you have to drink the tea and flush out. Me, I just like to stretch it out, and I have my body in some form of just cleansing itself.
So are you saying like if somebody decides that they want to be healthy, the first thing they have to do is like detox?
I'm not necessarily saying that, but I would say before, because we often go to, when people are trying to lose weight, we often go to the thought process of, oh, you need to start working out. But my thing is, you need to regulate your health and detox your body from all these different things. So like something I haven't done in like a couple years was the first week of the year, I'll do raw vegan for 7 days
Okay.
with no cooked food, everything just raw. And that's almost like it's an intense fast, but it's like you flushing yourself up. You sort of getting your insulin level sort of leveled. And then a lot of people will hard come off that and eat some junk. And it's like you shoot your insulin levels up again.
Yeah.
But it's like that to show you, like, because most times when people do like a raw vegan fast or just a general fast where there's no food, their heads start hurting.
Yeah.
They start getting highs. It's almost like they coming off that crack.
Yeah, it's
So, you
it's
know.
legitimate like withdrawals.
So it's like, so I think people need to do that more. And then you can now see the comparison of, okay, when I put this in my body, this is how I feel. When I put this in my body, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
So, that's why I would encourage the detox. So
Yeah.
you get
I would too. And it doesn't have to be like you're saying. It doesn't have to be something intense. Like, okay, let me go and buy these teas or do anything. So start with what you're eating. Like you said, maybe try and include more vegetables. Just like make wise choices or intentional choices, I would say, about what it is that you're putting in your body. And then you can start with something smaller, like you said, like you did lemon water. So lemon water is something good for you to do like first thing in the morning and gets all those toxins out. It's not anything crazy. Just before you have breakfast, drink a warm cup of water with some lemon in it. And the sea moss is good. It has lots of benefits. Y'all don't make me say what they are because I'm going to say them wrong. But so yeah, like making sure that your body just has a natural source of vitamins and minerals to help it do what it needs to do naturally. I think that would be the best thing. We don't have to get like a detox tea when our body literally has been made to do it by itself.
Yeah.
So, again, that boils down to what it is that you're putting in your body, because what you put in is going to provide how you feel, and that's also going to I guess, dictate what comes out of us too. So if you put a bunch of junk in, you're gonna feel like crap, and a bunch of junk is gonna come out. Versus if you give yourself like clean food to really nourish ourselves, it's gonna take what it needs, excrete what it doesn't, and then our process is gonna feel so much better. And like you're saying, you'll be more cognitive of like how you function in the daytime. You won't be as tired. Your body will be able to identify when something is wrong versus, hey, we're good, we don't need anything extra right now. So just really learning all of that helps a lot.
All right, we ready now?
I've enjoyed our time here for sure. And like before we close up and before we wrap up, two questions. One, are you taking on any clients? And two, do you want to say anything to the people at home before we go?
Okay, so yeah. So if anybody wants to talk, I'll be more than happy to go through that. Just answer any questions, figure it out what your goals are. So I'm willing to do that. And then just, it's a journey. Don't think that you have to fix whatever you feel like your issue is in like one day. You have to make small changes, and that's going to make a bigger impact in the process in the long run. So just take it easy. And some days it won't be, you might retract. It's not always a linear process, but it's possible. So
Sounds good to me.
So there you have it, folks. Life, the path you're on is a journey. Take it easy. Nothing is not.
Just don't fall off the path. Just don't fall off the path. Just keep going.
Thank you.
Don't get
I don't know
distracted.
what's going on today.
And don't get discouraged, man. Just,
yeah.
But
keep fighting.
yeah, but that's another Sandbar Sit Down with Fanatic Anders. Our lovely guest, Apryl Pinder.
Good stuff.
Yeah, all her description will be in the below, right there. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on SoundCloud, it's gonna be in the description below. Do you want to plug in your details, or you want me just do it across the screen?
You drop it.
Oh, just drop it in.
All right, I'll drop it. But until next time, y'all be good. Y'all be easy. We appreciate you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on any audio platform, leave the comments. Hit us with a 5-star rating if you liked it. Let us know what we could be doing differently. She will answer your questions.
I'll answer the questions. Yeah.
Bring your bank. Bring your bank book. Bring your bank book and bring your card.
Yeah. Why not?
This is not free.
This is a good
She
service.
paid for education.
To educate other people.
I was just gonna say, if she paid you off for the spot.
We do it for the people, Justin.
But see you later, folks.
Cool.